after this.
The Sports Fix, the show that asks the question,
what you talking about, Will? What you talking about, Will? What you talking about? What you talking about? What you talking about, Will? What you talking about? What you talking about, Will? What you talking about? What you talking about, Will?
We'll be right back.
Guys, want to take just a second as we head into this break and remind you about the official business printing source of the Sports Fix, our friends at Signs and Ship. Signs and Ship, I'm telling you, Chris and Pam, they've taken care of me since day one, and they can do the same for you. Whether you're a small business that's already been established and you're looking to grow to that next level and expand your business, or perhaps you've got an idea that you just know is going to be a great business and you need to figure out how to brand it and how to promote it and put it out there, Signs and Ship is the place for you. If you need a logo, they can create one for you. They have a fantastic graphic designer. Business cards, signs, banners, yard signs, mobile advertising, anything you can think of that you need to promote your business, they've got it at Signs and Ship. The best thing about them, too, is each of their locations, whether it's the home base here in Elyria, Ohio that I work with, or their spots in Virginia, Florida, and Pennsylvania, it's all local sourced. Very important to me because we all understand that small business is the lifeblood of the community. So check them out, signsandship.com, or call Chris and Pam today, 440-323-6060, the home office in Elyria, Ohio. Signs and Ship, quality printing at affordable prices.
It's an addiction.
You love Cleveland, and you already know how much we love Cleveland. You know who else loves Cleveland? GV Art and Design. Everyday fans, you and I wear our pride on our sleeves. Now, you can wear your pride on your chest. GV Art and Design has one of the hottest Cleveland sporting lines. Log on right now to gvartwork.com. Check out all of their fantastic designs.
And don't forget, use the sales code FIX10, FIX10, to save 10% on your total purchase.
Follow gvartwork.com on Facebook, and remember, GV Art and Design, it's not just a shirt, it's a statement.
The Sports Fix is on iHeartRadio. Download the free iHeart app today. Subscribe to the show and get your fix.
In baseball, miracles can happen when a team works together.
2 out, bottom of the ninth, down to their last strike.
The same is true in the fight against cancer. That's why MLB has teamed up with Stand Up to Cancer. Because we believe that when we all stand up together,
41,000 on their feet,
we can make cancer history.
Now everybody's standing. What a buzz in this building.
This is beyond a dream. Stand up with MLB at standuptocancer.org.
You're listening to the Sports Fix.
Back to the Sports Fix live across the Sports Fix Radio Network. J-Rock back with you guys. Jerry Myers rolling on here with the show, getting ready to shift gears, talk some Indians. Some great phone calls, by the way, guys, in the last segment. And we'll pick the phones back up. We'll open them back up a little bit later on in the show. We've got my man, John McMullen from the Sports Network, getting ready to join us here momentarily. Dan Wismar from the Cleveland Fan, going to follow him up. So we'll open up the phone lines again in that final segment of the show for sure. A lot more to talk about and get into for the show. We'll talk a little bit about the Cavs and Kevin Love and the latest there. We're talking Buckeyes with Dan Wismar, previewing Navy, and John McMullen on tap next with the latest. As we're wrapping up the preseason, we are getting down to the nitty-gritty here and some decisions to be made for the Browns, not just as far as who makes the roster, but how you decide it. Because, man, I will say that you know what, though? Part of the argument with whether you play guys, how long you play guys in that fourth preseason game, to me, it's not just the old risk versus reward, as far as, how much you want to get guys work and not get them hurt. We've mentioned the guys we've seen a few guys, seasons can change. You saw with Bradford there last week. But to me, at the same time, it's like in business, because if you look at all the football teams as businesses, as individual businesses, if I'm number one, I can be conservative and I can lay low, and I can I can react to markets, and I can work my business plan. When I'm an underdog, when I'm the number 2, when I'm competing with McDonald's, I have to take shots. I have to take risks, because otherwise I'm never going to get ahead from where I'm at. And to me, that's the difference when you make that argument about a football team is, and I know you can say, well, it's not your quarterback that you're risking out there, but when you're not ready, and not just the Browns, there's tons of teams that fit this, but when you're not ready, when you're not where you need to be, when you're the team that still has work to do, that's the risk that you have to take by its very nature to get better. You can't play it easy, because you can, but you're just going to suck a little bit longer. You'll just be healthier to suck longer, if that makes sense. Well, I'm going to talk about that and all, because the Browns have those decisions here this week. Let's talk some Browns, some NFL. My man, John McMullen from the Sports Network. You guys, by the way, you can't call, but you can hit us up on Facebook.com/TheSportsFix. Tweet with us at TheSportsFixCLE. Email us, TheSportsFix@AOL.com. John, my man, how you doing this afternoon?
Doing well, trying to get through this preseason.
That's it.
Week 4 is always fun.
So yeah, always fun, especially for like the scenarios that I was mentioning there, because everybody's got the risk and the reward. And then when you bounce off of a week where you see Sam Bradford go down, especially, watching it.
And by the way, I have to interrupt you, Jerry, because I just got a text message that Browns wide receiver Josh Gordon has indeed been suspended for the entire year.
Wow, let's stop everything right there then. Breaking news for those of you that just heard that. Josh Gordon suspended for the entire year. There will be no lowering of the suspension, my man. Let's start with that. I mean, a lot of people said that all along. It was going to be all or nothing, and here it is. It turns out that was an accurate depiction of the way things went down.
Yeah, and I'm a little surprised, to tell you the truth. I thought there was a chance, I had been steadfast that he would get the year-long suspension, and then when the appeal came, and it's been week after week after week, it's been, I think, over 3 weeks now, and the decision hadn't come down, that led me to believe there was some negotiating going on, and a possibility it would be knocked down at least a bit. I always thought it would be significant, whether it would be 8 games or the full year. But either way, the Browns kind of knew. I mean, the Browns knew this, that they were going to be without Josh Gordon for, at the bare minimum, a significant period of time. And as I said, and I've said on this show before, I don't know if it would have been the best way for him as an individual to go about it if he wanted to go the legal route and try to tie things up in court with the intent on playing this year. I think long term, I think he needed a wake-up call. We've talked about it before.
Absolutely. Well, this is it right here. And as you're talking, I'm going out there and putting it out there. It is indeed. You had it. Hey, John McMullen, my man, breaking it everywhere. I mean, it's scooping everybody. Just as we're announcing it, it's starting to come out everywhere there. And this is exactly, the Browns knew. I mean, actually, this week was interesting because I had several different arguments. People insisting that the longer this thing went, the more of a likelihood that it would work out better, and I felt the opposite. I said, man, I disagree, man. I mean, some people were throwing out hey, maybe the NFL's just not going to touch this thing, and they're just going to let it go away. I'm like, you're nuts. I'm like, they're not going to just not. We were talking about that yesterday a little bit. They're not going to just not do something here, and then this is really so. Now the Browns are where they thought they were. And even this week, Mike Pettin said, we know for a fact, man, he's going to be gone. It's just a matter of how long. Yet some people refuse to see that. Now, several keys to this here is something you and I have talked about all along, is the onus is on the Browns and on Josh Gordon to keep him straight and out of trouble, to even have an opportunity to revisit this in a year.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you see kind of both sides of the coin, and I understand that some people think it's unfair, and constant. We've tried to do the best we can as far as try to explain the differences between the substance abuse, the personal conduct policy, and everything involved, and why Josh Gordon put himself in this situation. It's just, it's a sad tale because you're talking about one of the best 2 or 3 wide receivers in all of football has kind of derailed his career with his inability to stay clean off the field. And anytime you have that, it's sad to me. And it's certainly, just from a pure football sense, it's tremendously impactful to the Cleveland Browns because we've all seen how badly the team has struggled offensively in the preseason, and when you don't have the one guy on the field that everybody has to game plan for, it's just going to make things that much tougher moving forward.
Let me tell you guys, man, I'm going to equate this to a little bit of Madden because I got the new Madden yesterday. And I can't lie, it was a very telling. They've gotten very good at each year has gotten more and more. Artificial intelligence is amazing when you watch what these things do. And first off, just the ratings alone, for those of you that like to see numbers and things that quantify things, Josh Gordon's rated like a 93 as a wide receiver. The next best on the Browns is a 77, and that's just about all of them. They're all rated around the same. They're just interchangeable parts. They're exactly what they look like in real life. And let me tell you, we're talking about injuries and stuff. This is a goofy side note, but I went ahead and I did a franchise, and I went and put the Browns through the preseason, and Brian Hoyer broke his shoulder in week 4 against the Bears in the preseason, and Johnny Football got to start the football season, and everybody was like, yay, Johnny Football, until he went out there and played. And in his first game, he threw 2 touchdowns. He also threw 2 interceptions, fumbled it twice on carries, was sacked 7 times by the Steelers, and the Browns lost that game by 21 points. So bad things can happen in that final week of the preseason. But, man, watching those receivers, the point is watching them try to get separation on a video game. They can't do it. I'm like, man, this Browns offense has no verticality at all, man.
Yeah, it really doesn't. And, it's impossible to replace a player like that. I think that's one thing that goes kind of unnoticed. I mean, you can't blame it on the organization, even though, I had, and we go all the way back to the draft, I had kind of an issue with passing up on Sammy Watkins if he was going to be available. Because, I firmly believe the Browns, as I said, were aware that best case scenario they were going to be missing him for a very long time as far as the season went. But yeah, it's you can't just go to your backups and say next man up. You'll hear that lip service, no doubt, coming from Mike Pettin, and it's not that he doesn't mean it. He means it. I mean, you can only go out there with the cards you're dealt, and that's what he has to go through right now. But we all understand that, it's impossible to replace a true difference maker like that, and that goes with any team. It's just a matter of you hope your superstars are mature enough to stay away from things off the field. And unfortunately, in the case for the Browns, that hasn't been the case.
And now that you have some finality here, I can ask the next question because it was really hard to speculate before. But then I can even give you the follow-up to this before it happens, which is who. But do you think with the Browns, is this the die that they're casting into the season? Or now that you know that it is definitely a full year, and then who knows? Because, guys, let's not forget that this is now taken him out until the beginning of next season. He is now suspended during all of training camp and preseason next year to even begin to apply for reinstatement to the league and to come back in. So you've now definitely impacted part of next season as well. Who knows where that thing goes? So now do you think the Browns entertain trading for a wide receiver, or are they going to cast it with what they got?
I'm not going to say they're not going to look at the waiver wire come Saturday. I think that's certainly a possibility, and there's even, we just